Right, let's try not to scratch the bikes with the back of the chair. Although these chairs are quite noisy.
They are, aren't they? That's
Fucking. Fucking Amazon for you, isn't it?
They were 60 quid, these.
Each.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers.
Nice mug there, mate. Yeah, you like it? Oh yeah, delicious. Delicious. Say something.
1-2. It's 1-2. Buckle my shoe. So this is yet another attempt at a podcast, isn't it?
So yeah.
Well, we shot one sort of just after lockdown at mental health, and it was a bad time, wasn't it?
It was just. I think it was too. It was right in the middle of just a load of fucking shit,
Yeah.
wasn't it? It was just too fucking depressing.
Yeah.
To go, woohoo, check out a new podcast. It's miserable as fuck. So let's not do that.
But no, this one, it's a bit of a rush job. Sorry, guys. I'm jetting off to South Africa to Carl Army this afternoon. So
How come you got to go and do that and I didn't?
you didn't reply to the email fast enough.
Well, under a minute. It was pretty quick. I was busy working.
Well, I think you're like, oh no, I'm not fussed about doing launches, and then when one comes up you want to do, you're like, oh
Yeah, a good one. Like you do all the shit ones, and I do a good one. Actually, to be fair, it sounds like it's quite a high pressured time thing, so I'm actually all right. I'm just here. I've got work to do, proper work.
Oh yeah,
real man's work.
Yeah. But mate, I mean, we had to. There was sort of topics of conversation being. I like that.
It glows. If we've got a USB.
For this listeners only, I'm just looking at a PlayStation piece of artwork.
Have you got a power pack on you?
I haven't, no. But I should. That's one thing I did forget. Power packs. You can never have enough power packs when you go abroad. No. Especially in South Africa, they've got those weird plugs. They've got like UK plugs, but they're like 2 inches thicker. All the knobs are 2 inches thicker, aren't they?
Well, they've got a particularly woeful grid.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, you'll be lucky if you get power. To be fair.
But yeah, no, we were just talking about just the topics for. And I was like, we've got to talk about racing because it's although we're off season, racing right now is so exciting, isn't it?
I'm more excited now than I was halfway through this season.
Yeah. It's crazy.
There's two big things for me.
Yeah.
And it involves two of probably the best riders modern history has seen, which is Marc Marquez and Toprak Razgatlioglu.
I thought you were going to mention Tommy Bridewell.
Oh, and that as well.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll get to that later on, yeah.
But I'm not that excited about that. But the Marquez, I mean, let's start with Marquez.
Yeah.
Because that is...
Yeah, I mean, let's go GP. Let's go Elite first. I mean, that is...
Did you watch the Valencia test?
I watched it the day after and just sort of scrolled through the highlights and the crashes and,
Yeah.
But no, are you surprised about his time?
No.
No, exactly.
No. And look, and I get a lot of the established top teams were testing new parts.
Proper testing, yeah.
And you can't say, oh, he's the fastest one because no one was going for like the ultimate lap time. That's not what that test was. However, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? I mean, to jump straight on that bike, all the other people that change bikes, change teams, they're like 2 seconds off the pace. And he was, Maverick Vinales, he set the lap record the day before.
Yeah.
Fastest lap ever around Valencia. So you're probably not going to beat that. And I think he was second or third overall, wasn't he, Marquez, at the end of the test.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. And I love it. And he's got so many haters, Marquez, because of Rossi,
He's got
that
fewer
incident.
now. He's got fewer now because of that Amazon documentary, and he's changed his management, his lifestyle, his social media is different. He's like got pictures of his girlfriend, and he's rather than just like the training stuff, he's way more relaxed. He's way more whether or not that is choreographed. I don't know, but he looks more chilled. He looks like he's having more fun. And yeah, he looks like he's in a better position for punters, I guess, for the fans.
Yeah, and I think him, like he's gone through, for someone like him, if you have watched that documentary, you'll know what we're talking about here. But for someone like him, who's gone through the last few years of losing, and being on an uncompetitive bike and throwing it at the scenery every other round, and still being by far the best Honda rider by a country mile, that has set him up for this. I would not be surprised if 2024 he's a bar politics getting involved. He's got a massive shot at winning the championship, because imagine going from the hardest bike on the grid to ride,
the shittest bike on the grid,
to the easiest.
Yeah. But do you notice just how he looked like he was going slow?
Yeah.
Because we're so used to him on a Honda, bucking, weaving, out of shape. You look at him on Ducati, honestly, his fastest lap, it looks like he was on an outlap compared to Martin.
Wobbling round.
Yeah.
So I think that's a massive advantage from it's like playing a video game on expert pro hard level for 3 years, and he's still got a couple of podiums this year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's not forget that. And then suddenly turning it onto easy. Like he's in the zone.
Yeah, I'm anyone who is surprised, I don't know, you shouldn't be a MotoGP fan, because it's not surprising, but at the same time, it was nice to see. It was gratifying to see. I'm not a Marquez #1 fan by any means, but it was good to see someone who's been through what he's been through to come out and and you see the smile on his face when he came in the first time. It's like yes, okay. Mate. Yes, mate. Okay. This is it. This is what the fuss is about.
And I mean, his brother's a decent rider. He's got some decent results, but I think halfway through the season, it's going to be an eclipse of Alex.
Yeah, I mean, he's slower. He's uglier. He's got a smaller wang.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be horrible to be Alex Marquez, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, if you put it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and what a coup for Grassini.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, that shows how dedicated he is, because it's obviously like money, forget it. He's not interested. I mean, I suppose when you got however much money he's got, it doesn't really matter that much anymore.
No.
But he so wants to win, he'll do anything.
I mean, yeah, he's set for life. He didn't have to terminate his contract with Honda.
No.
He could have just settled down, retired. His body is battered.
If he had survived, though, can you imagine another year on that bike? I don't think he could.
But then again, I mean, maybe we're switching too soon here, but Marini was fast. That new Honda.
He was, yeah.
This is the thing. Look, we cannot take anything away from times. You can take a few nuggets out of certain things, like Marquez is going to be amazing next year. Pedro Acosta was up to speed in relatively good time. He was faster than Nakagami, and was he faster than Nakagami? But he was faster than a few other guys, and he was up to speed relatively quickly after not so many laps. So I'm going to be banging the Acosta drum, because that kid is unbelievable. So
Pedro, he did crash it, though, didn't he?
Yes, but if you ain't crashing, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Portimao Turn 5.
Yeah.
Double R.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one.
But what else are you excited? I know we talked about briefly the other day, but what else are you excited for next year?
In terms of MotoGP?
Yeah.
So my next... I mean, I'm equally as excited by World Superbikes as I am MotoGP. Some respects more excited, because I think this year, with the weight limit and stuff like that, and the riders swapping around, I think that it's going to be close. I mean, Toprak is... Like, I go on about that guy a lot, but to get that close to Bautista on that Ducati and have it come down to the penultimate round when Bautista won everything, it just shows you how good that guy is. And
how committed he is as well.
And how committed he is.
Because he knew he was going... he
could have just gone, whatever.
Yeah.
And watching him at, I think it was the Mazzano race last year, and he just would not let Bautista win. It's like, no, I'm having it. And you just think, oh my God, anyone else fall on his ass. So that's a measure of the man and the skills that he's got. Now, BMW, he's obviously moved to BMW for this year. It's yesterday or the day before was the first time we saw him in BMW colours on a track, a random
on a no limits track day.
No limits track day.
which didn't start too well by all accounts. Have you seen all the videos on social media? I sent it to you last night.
An engine blow up.
Apparently, there was one of the comments from the BMW staff was it was an oil filter had come loose or something.
Well, look, whatever. I mean, look, but the thing is, it's not like that bike will be prepped for the start of the season next year. That's the old bike that's been ridden all year. Just go and have some laps and get used to it. So
I don't know. I think it'd be a new bike. That's why the issue. I don't know. We can't comment on that sort of thing. I think it'd be a new bike for him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, shit happens, doesn't it? Engines blow up.
Yeah.
But and of course, there's no way of comparing it to anything because Yamaha wouldn't let him out of his contract to ride the BMW at the official test, which is a bit spiteful.
It is.
And I think it's like, just shut up, boys. Come on. We're all big boys. We can all get on with this, can't we? Everyone wants to see it. So it's a little bit disappointing. But I think, it's almost the opposite of Marquez on a shit bike going to a great bike.
Yeah.
The BMW has not been up there. So we'll see. And I really hope that there's another bike in the championship. I really do. I hope there's another bike that can fight for it.
I can tell you now, he's not going to be fighting for a championship. And that's just, I personally, I still think, despite all the hate that Scott Redding gets, Toprak, the difference between Toprak and Scott Redding isn't going to be enough on that bike to win it, to be winning races constantly over a weekend and challenging for a title. There's no way it's going to happen.
Maybe not this year, no. But I think
they'll need a new bike. They're testing new parts. There's rumours of Morelli electronics because BMW still insist on...
Well, that's their problem, isn't it?
Yes.
They won't let people outside of the circle in.
No. It's a problem. It's not the problem. It's one of the problems. Yeah.
But I still believe that bike. Put it this way: at the end of next season, I think it's going to be a much better position than it is now.
Yes. Yeah.
In terms, I reckon they will finish. They will have a lot more points on the board with Toprak on it. That's my prediction. And I hope he does well. Yeah, he doesn't make unforced errors, Toprak.
No.
But very rarely seen him fall off a bike from his own mistake.
No. It's been tyres and mud guards and...
really random pigeons and other people knocking him off.
Yeah.
So, that I'm very excited about World Superbikes next year. So that leads us... So again, another little brief synopsis of what's happening in British Superbikes before we go into detail with everything else. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the hot nugget from this week is Bridewell going to Honda, which there's a few reasons why not a lot of people thought he'd do that, and that is one, the Honda squad was essentially full with two bikes. Two, why would you leave a title-winning package on Ducati and go to Honda, which is not the best bike? But he's done it, and yeah, he's got a nice big fat paycheck as well.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that he. Yeah, I mean, if he stayed on that bike, would he win? If he stayed on the PBM bike in that garage with Glenn, would he win the championship next year?
It's a good question.
I think that was his time, personally, and I think not out of lack of skill or whatever. It was just the world's, the planets aligned and it happened. But the sort of the egg that's coming out of that over the last few rounds, it's not a nice place to be. So I think he did it. He got the job done and got out of there. He's got it. He's won the championship. Yeah, that's it. Done. And go and take some money. Fair play.
I think it's more than that. The new Honda is going to be drastically better than the old bike.
Well, I hope so, because I don't think we even saw one in the top 10 pretty much on the Superbike class, did we? Super Stock is pretty good, isn't it?
No, I mean, Tom Neve had some bad luck, and Andy Irwin smashed himself up earlier on, and and then they had Franco Bourne on the bike deputising. So they didn't have the best lineup constantly, just through injury and bad luck all the time. So
they should have had us on it, really.
Yeah, should have done. Yeah. I did get the call from Harv, but I had to turn it down. It wasn't enough money.
No.
But no, you're right. As a Superstock bike, it's the Superstock Cup bike, isn't it? It's a Honda Cup. It's just translating that into a Superbike package, and for some reason, it's not quite clicking there. But again, I was chatting to Spider, who's been a mechanic for at Honda for a while now. Well, absolute legend in the BSB paddock. He's worked with a lot of riders and got the best out of them. And when you look at a press pack and all the sort of stuff that comes out, you think, oh yeah, it's got this and it's got wings and it's got this and that, and they don't really go into detail. And then I was chatting to Spider at the NEC, and he said, this bike has got this, this, and this, and this, and it's it's going to do this. It's going to make the bike faster here for us and easier for us. And just obviously he works for Honda as a freelance mechanic at BSB, but all the details he was talking about I never saw in the press release. So hopefully there's more to come from that bike in a racing state. I mean,
hope so. I mean, from all racing perspective, we all want the bikes to be up there.
Yeah,
and it could be the Honda, the Kawasaki, the Suzuki.
Yeah,
we all want them up there. And who's going to? It's not having two. It's great teammates battling out for the win, but you want two different manufacturers, really, don't you? Or two or three.
Oh, at least, yeah. Like has been in Kawasaki, in World Superbikes. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting though that that whole Honda? Oh, it's not the bike to be on. The Ducati's the bike to be on. But this is like, it goes back to, we get a load of comments on our Superbike tests about, when was the last time a Honda won the BSB or a BMW? And it's like, but hang on, what you buy in the shop, like it just discard it from that level. Superstock has relevance,
absolute relevance, and you can see that. You can see that in lap times on the track.
Yeah. Yeah,
in stock form versus super stock form, like out of the showroom, we put the Hondas, the Aprilias, the BMWs are all fastest on track, whereas the Kawasaki's, the Suzuki's, etc., are slower. Same for the super stock. It not mirrors, but it's a pretty close kind of mirror to racing. Whereas Superbike, just throw it out the window, start again.
Yeah, it's so completely different. And I just find it so interesting how, for example, you got Hondas dominating British super stock.
Yeah.
Then you go over to like Macau, where, what was it, top 5 bikes were all BMWs?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, BMW's never won anything. It's like, well, it has won stuff. It's just in a different discipline. So that bike is obviously suited for that particular style of riding and that
flat out,
that
like the
that
TT.
Way. Yeah, it's very good at the TT.
Yeah.
So it's keyboard warrior type comments, but the cream of the crop, like World Superbike, British Superbike, where you actually go into the bike, change a load of shit. That's where
you rip the bike apart and start again, because nothing's the same. Geometry, even the
swing arms
geometry. Even there's a lot more to do with the frame, adding and taking away bits in the frame. You can do a lot more than you think or you assume you can.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still like to see superstock rules get even tighter to the bikes that you and I can actually buy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
because then it would encourage the manufacturers to put. I mean, let's face it. You go into a dealership these days and want to buy the latest superbike. What are they? 25 grand now on average. Let's say, even for some of the lower spec ones, but like a middle of the range, 25 grand.
20 grand. Yeah.
Okay, 20,000 quid, right? And if you want to go on a track day and do your lap time. My dick's bigger than your dick with your mates, you've still got to go out and buy Olin's forks.
Spend another 20 grand. Yeah.
Olin's shop.
Yeah.
All this stuff. It's like, well, hang on.
Just thinking, that's doubled in 10 years. The price has doubled of a superbike in 10 years, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. I bought, in 2010, I bought a Repsol Fireblade for £9,999.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it got nicked. But then if you look at inflation... it is still, it's way beyond inflation, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And why is that? Because they're not selling. One of the reasons. Because I remember Yamaha Jeff, we were talking about R1, and I think when that 4XV, is it, came out, the dominant one, 2000. They sold, just in the UK, in year 1, 3,500 R1s, and I think year 2, 4,000.
Yeah.
So in that first release batch, 7,500 bikes. And I reckon Yamaha would be lucky to sell 400 a year, 300.
I think it's about, if you look at the last couple of years averaging, it's about 400 or 500 a year.
Yeah. So,
and that's for most manufacturers as well. And BMW sell a few more.
Yeah, but then that's like a bit more. It's a sort of bit more of an everyday 25 grand superbike, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's a bonkers price jump. So therefore, like for example, those Marzocchi forks. I'm pointing for the listeners.
Yeah.
Double R. You know, if you went to BMW and said, "Hello, can I have a set of Marzocchi forks, please? I've bent mine." There'd still be $2,000.
Probably more than that, aren't they?
Probably more. Yeah.
I just to think how much BMW would charge for a set of standard forks.
Yeah, so there'd still be a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
So actually, the price point of installing them from factory, is fuck all. It's nothing. Just fucking do it.
Things like, people don't really consider brakes, but by the time you've got a decent superstock setup, where you can change discs and pads and everything else. Like maybe pads you can change, but everything else is still it all adds up. I think personally, I'd like to see braided lines and exhausts,
ABS delete,
ABS deletes. So and that really is about it for superstock.
Yeah.
Things like handlebars and seats and stuff you can change, sure, for ergonomics. And I know, no, not all riders fit, but that would be my ideal kind of limit for superstock. Why not?
Yeah.
If your brakes are shit, you've got to build better brakes.
Yes. All Japanese manufacturers.
Yes.
But again, it's not necessarily the brakes. It's their over safety panicking, and I think it is.
But even when you take the ABS off, the brakes aren't as good as a Yamaha. Say your brakes aren't as good as Ducati or a
no. But then they just buy the Brembo. And again, I guarantee you, from a manufacturer perspective, they're going to order 5,000 sets of calipers, 5,000 sets of Nissin calipers versus 5,000 sets of middle of the road Brembos.
Yeah,
the price isn't going to be that much different.
No.
I don't think.
No, it won't be.
So, just put the fucking parts on.
I mean, I still.
But then, to be fair, I don't know. It's such an interesting question because actually, that bike with that again, I'm pointing at a 2023 with electronic suspension double R. You haven't ridden that yet, have you? To be fair, the suspension is actually really good in respects. It's not race spec level, but it's good enough for 98% of uses. And in fact, it's probably better for 98% of users. So I suppose their argument would be like, well, most people don't actually ride them on track.
No, true.
But
it would be funnier, and I think the racing would be closer if you had the bikes like you were racing on road suspension with I'm sure you could set up springs and stuff like that. Fair enough, but you had the basic suspension.
Do you think? I remember what our mass debate was that we were going to do. Electronic suspension versus standard suspension.
Should we save that for next time, or should we just do it now?
No, let's just do it now.
Yeah.
So here's a question then. So would you allow electronic suspension in race series?
Yes, I would, because it would only help development. But I've yet to ride a system that I would prefer over conventional suspension.
Interesting.
It's just personal preference, and I'm sure there's some test riders
of the disconnect.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some test riders who say I'd rather race on the Smart EC3 suspension. Sure you would, mate. You're being paid to say that by the manufacturer, but pretty much. And I don't know many people that would prefer the electronic suspension. What would you prefer? Electronic?
I think it's getting
closer.
Years ago,
yes,
absolutely, I'd be on your side of the fence. But now, if I was to buy a sort of a track bike that is, like an everyday, here's my super bike, which I do 3 or 4 track days a year, blah, 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 I would choose electronic suspension. If it wasn't a dedicated, full-on race bike, I think I would choose the electronic stuff now. Because it's at a level which is comparable to, if not, in some respects, better. I don't think you have to worry about... It's like we said off camera when we talk about... To get in the window of race suspension is such a small little tiny gap.
Yeah.
Whereas the electronics will widen that gap for you, and the road stuff widens that sort of optimum window of usage. So just for less hassle.
Yeah.
And just go, do you know what? Actually, it's pretty bloody good.
And like you've said many a time, just rather than just getting a spanner or a screwdriver out, you just double tap.
Double
click,
tap.
Click, click.
Yeah. And I like the idea of it being able to, we're big lads. So on the brakes, you want the bike to be able to support you on the brakes, but then when you want a nimble, quicker, it can change the operational window.
Yeah, no, actually, you made a good point there, because that's, go on, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
Well, that was the point. I like the way that it can go,
breaks
hang on.
it down.
Yeah. You're a fat fucker.
Yeah. But you like it a little softer here, mid corner.
Yeah. So we can relax it, and we can do this stuff. And I think it is the future, and I think it should be in like, for God's sake, I mean, fucking hell, you've got automatic ride height adjustment and shit in MotoGP and all of this stuff, but they won't allow you to have electronic servo assisted forks.
I know.
So you're like, well, hang on, you can drop the entire bike by 4 inches.
It must be a safety thing.
Well, it's proving to be an anti-safety with the tyre pressure rule, isn't it? So, and we can get onto that as well. So let's just debate. I think, do you know what? For the progressive, I'm such a progressive left wing person.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
That I'm gonna go with the future, and I'm gonna say electronic.
You know what? I'm gonna join you because you've kind of that bit where. Right about now, I will have conventional suspension all day long. But that bit where you talk about, you mentioned about you can break the corner down and have it stiff on the brakes and then nice and soft in the middle, so you're able to turn and change direction. That, when it's right, in years to come, with the development and the technology being souped up, I think it will be better for riders of our caliber. I still think that until it's 100% safe and it works the way.
Nothing's ever 100% safe.
No, okay, safer, and riders who will be racing it can trust it and prefer it. But at the same time, it was in World Superbikes. They had it in World Superbikes and MotoGP, but it was banned, and I don't know why it was banned.
Well, it was like the whole carbon wheel thing was banned.
Yes. But
because of political, we're not going to let these people manufacture these wheels because we have a stranglehold on the market.
Yeah.
But I think, and that's based on technology now, right? So the electronics suspension now. So, and I'm sure this is still, the bike knows where it is on the circuit. So if you've got particularly hard sections, if you've got particularly flowing sections, if you've got particularly tight sections, it already does it for the throttle bodies and the mapping and stuff like that. So why can't it do it for the suspension? So, that's to come.
Yes.
Well, it's already here. It's just not. We don't have access to it. So I think when that arrives, it's going to be pretty good.
But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people out there going, "Oh my God, what are you talking about? More technology, more rubbish."
Well, fuck off. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Go and buy a Triumph Bonneville, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go and clonk around on a tractor.
I love technology. It gets me exciting. I love the.
Well, I think that, look, there's a time and a place for everything. But if you want a fast lap time, you're going to do whatever you can do to get the lap time quicker.
Yeah.
And it comes down to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're faster and safer, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I remember riding Tom Sykes' World Superbike after he won the championship in 2013, and I was wanking over his. It was a time when split throttle bodies first came out. The split throttle bodies first came out, and I wrote this amazing piece on it, and I was like, oh yeah, ugh. I got loads of back in the day when it was hate mail emails, just like, oh, I can't believe this is coming in, it's ruining motorcycling as we know it, and you're just like, oh God, it just baffles me. I don't look,
but that
each to their own, but
yeah, but the stupid thing about that argument is that old technology that they're desperate to hang on to, it still exists. Go and buy a 2001 R1. Go and buy whatever you want. It's still there. The bike's still there.
2008 Blade.
Yeah. Go and buy it. It's still there. Shut the fuck up. So let's now jump back quickly to MotoGP.
Yeah.
And penalties. So this is the whole tyre pressure. I mean, because who was done on the last race?
Digi
was done for the tyre pressures.
Had a podium again.
Yeah, done for tyre pressures.
Like,
oh fucking hell,
0.01 of a bar.
But how can you? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to get a message on your dashboard that goes, "Oh, your tyre pressures are too low. Quick,
do a burnout."
Yeah, exactly.
Front it into a corner.
Well, exactly. How slow was the slowdown lap? That could have happened on the slowdown lap.
Yeah.
But they do have live readings, don't they? So maybe I don't know. Maybe it was.
It's a load of fucking bollocks.
It's a load of fucking bollocks.
Fuck it. It ruins the sport.
It's ridiculous.
It's like it's worse than VAR in football. That is just. You've got the emotions of you've done a clean, fair race and
almost won, could have won, could have stuffed up the inside.
Yeah. But he chose not to because he knew.
Thank you for my new contract.
Yeah. But no, and then he gets to, and was it the day after or was it that night?
It was that after, yeah.
And of course it was,
yes,
yeah. But I mean, just to go for going to your motorhome and having to give your trophy back to some steward or to the whoever. It's bollocks.
And particularly, like track limits, I can kind of. I know there's a controversial issue, but I can sort of get behind that a little bit. But the tyre pressure thing, because of safety,
yes.
It's like, hang on a minute, that rider and that team, they want to win the race. They don't want to crash. They don't want to fucking hurt themselves, and they don't want to fall off, and they don't want to lose points. So the safety aspect is almost slightly irrelevant because if you're riding a fucking 300 horsepower motorcycle for a start, so if you want safety, go and get a job in a marshmallow factory. Yeah. Go and play chess in a marshmallow factory.
Yeah.
So that's kind of irrelevant. And the rider, like, what's safer? A rider who understands how his bike's going to ride and can keep control of it better, or a rider which can't keep control of it and is going to start pushing the front and is going to start trying to struggle to get going. I mean, I understand it's something to do with first laps, isn't it? Because they don't want it to run too slow and it's difficult. Is that why it is?
I don't even know the proper ins and outs.
And then Michelin said that we don't. If in those early laps your tyre is too soft and you hit a curb, it could damage the sidewall of the tyre.
So.
And you might get a puncture. Okay,
they should have introduced this at the start of next year if they were going to do it. To just come out with it halfway through the season.
Yeah, but I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart, so.
Well, yeah.
I think Martin was a rider who used to like to run the lower pressures, and I think it may be a somewhat motivated instruction.
Oh wow.
Because
it's unlike you to think weird things, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but most of them turn out to be true, though, don't they?
Yeah. Well, in your mind, yeah.
Well, I've been proved pretty accurately correct over the last
I think
few years.
That's going to go. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
It's not a rabbit hole.
It is.
No, it's real.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I've got a tinfoil hat and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One day you'll wake up, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang out the back of you.
That's already happened.
We haven't talked about the weight limits in World Superbikes, though.
No, we haven't.
What are your thoughts?
I think
on
it's
that?
fair.
Oh, I think it's fair.
I think it's more than fair.
It's
actually
bizarre how, after all these years, it kind of makes its way into the sport. But I think
it's so obvious. It's been so obvious though this year. It's been so obvious.
Yeah, and
I think it's more than fair. And I understand the disadvantages as well, which there are. There are disadvantages of being a light, small rider.
Yeah,
you can't muscle the bike around. You don't have the leverage like some of the lanky fuckers do. So it's not. You're not. Again, it's not like you are X amount of kilos too light.
Yeah.
So you're going to have X amount.
Yeah.
No, it's half of it, isn't it? 50%, I think, is what the thing is. So if you're 10 under, they're going to put 5 on the bike.
Yeah, but this is something that I found out recently, is that, and this is through the BMW thing, because they're introducing it in the BMW Cup for next year as well.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's really what that's more important than World Superbikes, is the most you can put on, according to FIM, for safety is 7 kilos. So
yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
7 kilos, it's not going to make that much difference, is it?
No.
So,
no, but if you were a committed athlete.
What I'm saying, even for the likes of, Redding and Baz, or who, if Baz stays in, but the sort of bigger guys, it's not going to be.
I think 7 kilos is quite a It's still quite a big lump.
It will make that much difference.
Well, in that case, there's nothing to moan about, is there? It's just the rule. Minimum weights. It's been in car racing forever.
I mean, I should have done some research already. Do you know when they're going to put it? And I think have they got a scope to move it around?
I think they can put it
where they want.
Where they want, yeah. As long as the rider and bike weighs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to put it in a wheel rim, are they?
No.
And it'll probably just be under right. I'd put it with my engineering background. It'd be somewhere right down in the belly pan, wouldn't it? As low as possible.
I don't know. Or you turn on the circuit, you put it at the front, and you have more weight at the front.
Yeah, so it could be an advantage.
And then faster circuits, you want more grip at the rear, so you put it in the rear. I don't know. I'm just
put it on a big stick.
Yeah. GoPro, like 360.
An Insta 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also, what is the weight? Is it are parts failing that they can now go, well, actually, with these extra 3 or 4 kilos on this Ducati we need to put in, we're going to strengthen the whatever of this engine. It could, so.
I don't understand.
So if you're, rather than putting blocks of weight in the bike, they could go, well, actually, hang on, our bike's got heavier this year, because they may have like bored out or done what, I don't know, whatever technical people do with engines, like made it like too thin so it might fail. Do you know what I mean? So
they're just adding metal to something that's shit, you mean?
No, but if your bike continuously breaks because the fucking walls of the whatever are too thin. The wing wangs.
Yeah.
If your wing wangs are too thin,
yeah.
they're like, well, actually, we don't have to make this bike quite so light now because we're going to be penalised because our riders have like super light. So they could actually make that part more reliable by putting more material on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll do that. I know.
How would you not?
It's lead. It's lead weight.
Yes, but only because the bike is too light.
Yeah, but I thought you were referring to.
Unless the bike has a minimum weight, which it does anyway, actually.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
I thought you meant you were referring to like being able to use other metals to beef up your engine, for example.
No, I was just thinking, but the bike has a minimum weight, so I was thinking you could anyway, whatever. But it's adding magnesium and unobtainium. It's not going to do much.
What else? What other nuggets have you got?
Chicken.
I'm so hungry as well.
Well, you're going to the airport now. You'll get a Gary.
I haven't eaten since 8:00 last night.
Well, that's not the way to live. You still do that.
It is. It's good for fasting, mate. It's good.
Just go and get some fucking exercise and eat some nice breakfast afterwards. That's it. Simple as that. Dr. Chris says so. And pull your foreskin back. Have a good clean underneath it. Wire brush.
Yeah, I've done that for a while.
Well, wire brush to the bell.
Yeah. Or no, pull the foreskin back.
No? It's too tight.
Yeah. Do we do back to that? Oh, yes. I have got something I want to talk about, Chris.
Oh, God.
British Supersport is going to be really fucking exciting again.
Okay.
The new CBR 600.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to employ one person to ride your new Supersport project in British Supersport, who would it be?
New project, to lead the project. Probably Richard Cooper or someone like that.
I mean, it was close, but Jack Kennedy, it's kind of a trick question because they've hired him.
Right, okay, yeah.
So in British Supersport next year, we've got official Yamaha entrance, official Honda entrance, Triumph are back with an official team. We've got an official Kawasaki team still, the official Ducati team with Wilfs, with Ben Curry.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, for the last couple of years, I've been going, British Supersport, it's made up of a few GP2 bikes and it's got a few... Don't be wrong.
Yeah, that didn't really work, that GP2 thing.
No, it's just a bit of a shame. I think there could be another way around it by using Triumph engines in Moto2 chassis, but to have random bikes built by Fred and Shed is not, I don't think, necessarily the way to go. But yeah, looking at British Supersport the last couple of years, it's just been... Like I said, you've got a few good riders in there, but then recently the depth of field has just kind of vanished, and the times from like 5-10 years ago, they're not really getting any better, and that's not to do with the technology of the bikes. It's more the riders have not been anywhere near as strong as they used to be. But now this year, you've got some big names back in it. You've got a lot of teams and a lot of because like Honda, Kawasaki, Ducati, Triumph, Silver, Yamaha. So you've got 5 manufacturers making proper bikes again. And I think it's going to be exciting. Just as exciting as BSB, I think.
Yeah, I mean, is it? I don't know. It's a funny. Some people love Supersport, don't they?
Yeah,
like, they absolutely diehards.
Yeah, you're not one of them.
I'm not particularly, if I'm honest. But
just not enough power for you. Not enough fucking meat in there. Do you know what I mean?
Not enough big dicks.
No.
Just I want that willy waving.
Yeah.
No, but interestingly, I am excited about the Twins Cup stuff.
Yes.
I'm almost more excited about that.
Yeah.
Than the Supersport. Why, I don't particularly know, but I think it just seems a bit more. I don't know. There isn't. I'm not excited about the 300s or whatever, the 400 hours, whatever. That stuff. It's kind of like, oh fucking hell, come on, let's get on with this. So I think that Twins Cup is like, that's going to be the entry level, because if you can ride a bike decent, they're not animals, are they? They're and they're going to be power limited to what, 70?
No, apparently it's going to be 95 to 100 horsepower.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm still not sure how, it's kind of, you're putting a lot of the bikes, the Kawasaki, I mean, we got a lot of, BMW's got a lot of grief last year for shedding oil on the track because some people shave their engine covers down.
Right.
And the race direction didn't like it. I can tell you now, there's going to be a lot of those Super Twins or the Twins Cup bikes going bang because of being stretched to that power. But this is the thing. No one really, the regs aren't, the full regs aren't out yet, so I can't really comment on exactly what.
They aren't out yet, and they're running it. They're starting it in what, March?
Yes, April. Yeah, March, April. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's all good. I think the good thing is it looks healthy for 2024.
It does.
Across all disciplines.
It does. I'm very, very excited.
Great.
Hard.
Right, well, better go and get your plane.
Okay, thanks, bye.
To South Africa.
What do they say over there?
Hello, mate. The only thing I know is the goddamn prawns. There was that film, District 9, with the prawns, the aliens.
Didn't see it.
It's quite good.
Is it?
Yeah. I was going to say Dennis Bergkamp, but
no, he's Dutch.
He was a
footballer. A plane-hating Dutch footballer. The Iceman, we used to call him.
Who's the director?
Hudson Kenner.
No.
Anyway.
Right, goodbye.
Bye, thanks. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye. Oh, look at that. Perfect.